Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Warcraft Weekly, episode number 13. And this is your weekly news show, taking a look at everything that's been going on in the world of Azeroth. Today's date is the 22nd of November, and we're going to be taking a look at everything that's been happening in the past 7 days. In the news this week, we want to start off by congratulating the guys from the guilds Method, All In and Enraged Revolution for being the first people in the world to complete all of the gold mode challenge modes within the first week of the expansion being launched. This is a stupidly impressive feat, and you now get to, bask in the glory of the Yeti mounts and also the challenge mode weapon rewards. If you'd like to check out the current rankings for challenge modes, then you can head on over to wowprogress.com. As we are only just over a week into the expansion, we're still seeing quite a few hotfixes being put into place in order to resolve bugs or issues with the game, and unfortunately there are way too many to go through here, or we would end up turning this, sub 10 minute short video into almost half an hour long. If you'd like to check out a full list of all of the most recent hotfixes, you can check out the official Warcraft website or head on over to flaskup.com. Earlier on in the week, J. Allen Brack, who is the executive producer for World of Warcraft, issued us with an apology for the issues and troubles that both Blizzard and ourselves as players were having during the initial launch of Warlords of Draenor. He's acknowledged that the first few days of the expansion were not a great experience due to either gameplay problems or high queue times, and that the Blizzard team were working around the clock in order to address these issues and technical challenges, and thankfully by Sunday last week, things were now getting under control. Now, because of these difficulties, Blizzard are going to be rewarding us, or granting us should I say, 5 days worth of extra game time to everyone's account in the Americas, Oceanic and European regions if you're active as of Friday the 14th of November. Now, on top of this letter, community manager Bashiok stated that on Friday the game time was now on its way out and that the process would take a full day to complete, so if you qualified for the free game time, it should now be applied to your account. If you'd like to read the full apology from J. Allen Brack, then you can see it on the official Warcraft website or head on over to flaskup.com. Ahead of the fourth quarter earnings call next month, Blizzard have released a subscriber count for World of Warcraft as of November the 13th, 2014. And amazingly, the subscriber count is now up to 10 million subscribers, which is a massive 2.6 million increase from the third quarter earnings call, which was held earlier on this year. Blizzard have also let us know that Warlords of Draenor has currently sold over 3.3 million copies so far, which is up from the 1.5 million copies that have been pre-ordered in August. Who knows, maybe this expansion we can beat the record from Wrath of the Lich King of 12 million subscribers, as Warlords definitely seems to have really lit a new interest in the game. There seems to have been quite a bit of confusion over how raid lockout systems work, so Blizzard have released a blog post taking a look at the raid lockout systems and reminding us of what each system does what. So, in total there are 3 different types of lockouts used within the game. The first one is a loot-based lockout, which is used for all Raid Finder raids, Siege of Orgrimmar Normal and Heroic, and Warlords Normal and Heroic raids. And in this lockout, you can kill a boss as many times per week as you like, but you can only loot it once per difficulty. Anyone can join anyone's instance. Bosses are never locked to you, and you can always go back and kill them later, even if you've skipped them by joining a group that's had progression further. Raid sizes can be anywhere from 10 to 30 players, and the difficulty will automatically scale to match the number of players. The second lockout type is a flexible boss-based lockout, which is used for normal difficulty raids from Wrath of the Lich King through to Throne of Thunder. And with this lockout, you can only kill a boss once per week, and you may not enter an instance where a boss is alive that you have already defeated that week. You can move from group to group during a week as long as you're joining instances that don't have bosses alive that you've already killed. If you enter an instance that is more progressed than your own and get saved to it, you'll be locked to all of the prior bosses, and you can move between 10 and 25 raid size given those constraints. And the third and final lockout type is a strict instance-based lockout, which is used for all classic raids, Heroic Wrath of the Lich King through to Throne of Thunder, and all mythic difficulty raids. And with this lockout, progress is tied to a fixed instance ID, and once tied to an instance ID, you may not enter any other versions of that raid or that difficulty until your raid lockout resets. If other players complete that instance while you're absent, the instance will be empty for you as well, because progress is tied to that instance and not your character. And you may not switch between 10 and 25 player raid size once locked to one size or the other, and this does not apply to Mythic as that is 20 player only. Hopefully that blog post and what I've just explained there does clear up some confusion, and you can check out the full blog post on our website or on the Warcraft forums. At the launch of Warlords of Draenor, there were a few issues that allowed players to prematurely access Conquest gear and Conquest points, as in some cases, these were being rewarded from various locations such as Ashran, despite there being no active PvP season. These issues have now been corrected, and Conquest points are currently not being earned or rewarded, but in order to preserve the integrity of the upcoming season, Blizzard have had to do something about the Conquest and the gear that people already have. Before the Warlords Season 1 begins on December the 2nd, they'll be converting all Conquest points into Honor, and any excess Honor over the 4,000 point cap will be converted into Silver, and any Primal Gladiators Conquest gear is going to be converted into its Primal Combatants Honor counterpart. And to close the show this week, the 10th anniversary of World of Warcraft has now begun in-game, so if you log into the game, you will then get the 10th anniversary achievement, as well as the lovely little molten corgi pet, who happens to drag his backside across the floor and then sniff the trail of fire that he leaves behind. But anyways, you can now also gain access to the level 100 version of Molten Core via the Raid Finder interface, and you must have an item level of 615 or higher in order to enter. As well as this, you can now also go and take part in the 40 vs 40 South Shore vs Taran Mill battleground that is open for this event only, and you can queue for this by opening up your PvP frame in-game. The battleground will last for roughly 30 minutes or until either the Alliance or the Horde has gained 300 points, so go out there and kick some arse, to put it politely of course. So that's going to do it for this week's weekly news. As always, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next Sunday.